everyone. My name is Allegra. I am the Special Populations Outreach Advocate at Iowa, not at Iowa State, at Access on the sexual abuse team. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about what our services currently look like and how that's actually impacting the LGBTQIA community. As part of my role at Access, I actually do a lot of outreach with the LGBTQIA plus community. And I kind of wanted to touch on that because even prior to social distancing, we have gotten a lot of questions about who we serve and how we serve them. And since that's part of my position, I thought this would be a great time to have that discussion. I wanted to kind of start a little bit with how we are providing services right now. While we're not necessarily meeting people in person, we are still available during our regular hours and sorry about my noises going on back here. So while we're providing services, not necessarily in person for outreach, we are currently still on our regular hours, as well as providing 24-hour access to our crisis line. So one of the things that we've been using is a program called Doxy.me, and the reason that we use this is it doesn't require any kind of download by the client or the survivor who's reaching out to us, and it can be used on a phone, a tablet, or a computer. So we're trying to do things as accessibly as we can. We know that not everyone has regular access to the internet, and there can be privacy concerns using video calling. I just wanted to give it, and this is especially true of our LGBTQ survivors who may not be out, or maybe in a situation where talking about that aspect of their identity is something that's not really an easy thing to do. So I just recommend if you are going to be using something like Doxy.me or even a phone call or texting, that you go into a room that has a door that can close. If that's not an option for you, while we are practicing social distancing, that doesn't mean that you can't go outside. I know that in all the counties that we serve, the parks are open. There are places that you can go. And if you have Wi-Fi or you have data, that's something that you can do. I know places like the libraries are also offering Wi-Fi. So if that's a concern that you have, please don't hesitate to go over to those areas, depending on the county. I know they opened today, but not every library is opening to the public. But they are often offering Wi-Fi that extends out the building. So that's another way to access that service, either on a cell phone or a tablet, or a charge app if you have access to that. I wanted to specifically bring up at Access, when we work with people who identify as part of the LGBTQ plus community, every service that we provide is something we can provide to someone who is part of that community. We do have a reputation as being a women's shelter. While we serve female survivors, we serve female identifying survivors. That's the only population that we serve. We serve men, we serve women, we serve people who identify as non-binary. And your gender identity isn't something that's a concern as far as receiving services. All of our housing services, all of our outreach services, all of our financial services, they can be provided to you regardless of gender identity, sexual orientation, gender presentation. And I don't want people to come in thinking they're going to be misgendered. I don't want people coming in thinking, I'm not going to be taken seriously because this happened in a same-sex relationship, or that someone isn't going to understand the nuances of what that is. I am actually trained in specific issues with the LGBTQIA community that you may run into. And if people have questions, they are more than welcome to reach out to me either via email or contact our crisis line and request speaking with me. If I'm not available, that doesn't mean that the advocate that you get a hold of doesn't know what's going on or doesn't have that same training. They can also always contact me. So if you contact our crisis line or are speaking to an advocate and aren't sure if they understand or have a way, understand the different nuances of LGBTQIA services, they can always access me. Most of them are already trained in it, but I'm very happy to speak with them to do education. Sorry, I have a lot of noise happening outside. And to kind of end this pretty brief overview of LGBTQIA services, I wanted to point out that Access is actually reaching out to local county services or city services that are LGBTQIA specific. I know that a lot of those have things like Pride have been canceled in lieu of social distancing and community safety. That doesn't mean that there aren't going to be events. They're just moving to virtual. I know specifically that Ames Pride Fest is currently working on setting up a number of virtual events that they should start announcing, I believe sometime around June or July. Ames Pride Fest usually happens in September. I'm actually currently in the process of working with their outreach officers as well to set up programming specific to survivors, as well as just making sure that we are getting the word out there, that you're seen, that you're heard, and that we do want to provide services for you, and that you will be believed if you come speak with us. If anyone has any questions about the services that we provide or how we would specifically, don't hesitate to email. My work email is allegra@assaultcarecenter.org. If I don't know the answer, I have a lot of connections to services and agencies who will, and I'm happy to find that information for you. I hope everyone stays healthy and happy, and have a great weekend.